As y'all know, the car featured right yonder is pretty cotton picking slow. And well, for good reason. It's the oldest car in the world. And as far as I know, it's also the slowest car in the world because those kind of sort of correlate. But, well, today I'm going to show y'all why it ain't even really the slowest car with certain circumstances and everything going in its favor with everything not going in the other car's favor. So, is this practical? No. Could this be done in real life? Probably not. But is it technically true? With all things considered, yes. So pretty much to sum up what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a lap with a standing start in this, the motor wagon, which has a whopping 0 horsepower, or at least as the game says 0 horsepower. My guess is it's under 0.5, so it doesn't round up to 1, because obviously if it had 0 horsepower, literally none, it wouldn't move, but whatever. And it has the full, like, added power and lowered weight that you can do in arcade mode. And then the other vehicle I'm using, well, I'll just show y'all when I get to it, but I will give a hint. It's sort of kind of tuned like a car that's been tuned before in a game that's, well, a whole heck of a heap newer than this. But anyway, how I'm going to start this off is at the 1 minute mark, I will begin. I went ahead and set the clock off just so that, like, I could get an accurate reading. Because it's hard to stop exactly at the same point and then go immediately, like, and get it precise. So I figured the best way of doing it is go ahead and start the clock so I can use that for more precision. So there ain't really all that many ways of, like, speeding this up because as far as I can tell, there ain't even a way to pause a replay in GT4. The start button doesn't work, the X button just changes views, and all the other buttons don't really work either. Like, this is what the X button does. It doesn't bring up a menu or anything, but whatever. I guess this is a cool view, though, so waste some time until it actually starts. But, I mean, as y'all are expecting, this is the second slowest car ever. So, even when it does go, it ain't gonna be the most fun, but trust me on this, it's definitely unique. But anyway, here we go. I'm off at the 1 minute mark. Look at that speed right yonder. Another thing that I'm doing in this car, which I assume is perfectly fine, like it could be done in real life as far as I know. Granted, I don't really think, even if there is the original one still around, which I kind of doubt it, any replicas I doubt are driven either. But let's just say they were. I'd assume this would be something that could be done. And it's the not going quite up to its absolute max speed before it redlines. Because this car does like all the other cars do in GT4 when it redlines. I assume this is realistic. Is it hits the max speed and then it drops down 5 or 6 miles an hour. But given when you're only working with 11 miles an hour, 5 or 6 miles an hour is a big difference. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm just revving it as close to the top speed as possible. And like getting off the throttle when it gets close. And that way I don't hit the red line and then drop down speed. All in all, this equals the faster time. But about the only negative thing about this car in terms of how it runs, and also I cut the track there just for the sake of everything, so y'all don't have to watch me going around that turn for no reason. But anyway, the annoying thing about how this car runs is that it's apparently on sport soft tires right now. They're wooden tires. Something tells me changing tires on this doesn't do anything. Do those look soft to you? I don't think so. I don't think those look quite soft. But anyway, just waste time because I don't think I can actually, like, fast forward this or set it to, like, a marker or whatever, like, lap time. If y'all want to switch over to the next car, I don't know exactly what this is because I'm recording this as is. But my guess it would be about the middle part of the video when it goes to the next car. If this makes logical sense. But anyway, I've about made it around now. I mean, about is relative given that I'm going 10 miles an hour. I'm on the main straight here, but yeah, it's not the fastest in the world. But anyway, this car's top speed is like exactly 12, so I figured just keep it about 10, 11, just to not risk it. But anyway, we go across the line here. Remember, I started at the 1 minute mark, so really this lap is about 2:51. Remember that. I did that in 2:51, and I ain't counting the next lap because that's a running start. This test is with a standing start. But anyway, on to the next car. And another hint, too, as I go to it. I'd say a lot of these cars can probably be used for this, but the particular one I used is a 1969 Fiat 500. There's a whole heck of a heap of old Fiat 500s. So, pretty much any car we'll do here that's an old Fiat 500, I assume. The best ones to use, I guess, would be the ones with dirty oil, just because it gives it that much more of a disadvantage. And finally, what gives it the biggest disadvantage and makes it a fair fight between it and the motor wagon is I did the reverse transmission flip. Meaning instead of flipping it to where its gear ratios are optimized, they're de-optimized most possible. In other words, its top speed is sort of like the worst car ever in GT Sport, or I guess not ever, the worst car in GT Sport. This is possibly the worst car ever. AKA, its top speed is something around 700 miles an hour. And because it's a 12 horsepower Fiat, or something around the lines of that with dirty oil, it obviously can't quite go that fast. Let's see how fast it can go, folks. Let's see how fast it can go. And another thing I'm doing it too, because in theory it's realistic, I would assume old Fiats are manuals. They're not all that expensive and they're not that technologically advanced. So I'd assume when these were produced, they were manuals. Is I put it in the 5th gear, just to make it as stupid as possible. It seems kind of ironic too. Why was this car a 5-speed? It's not like you were going to be going all that fast anyway, and it's not like you really needed a power band, like, to do anything. If somebody tried to take this car on the highway, they're idiots. I'm not even sure if Italy had highways. I don't think these cars ever made it to America. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is its speed right yonder. And anyway, like the other one, I'll go at the minute mark, and that will make it fair. And y'all saw how fast the motor wagon was off the line. Well, let's see how fast this is off the line. We're getting ready to go, folks. And remember, it's standing start, so no revving. I'm full throttle right now. I'm going 1 mile an hour. 0 to 1 in 10 seconds. 0 to 1 in 10 seconds. Not 0 to 60. 0 to 1. 0 to 1 mile an hour in 10 seconds. You know what? I think the motor wagon might have a chance of not being the slowest car ever. Now, granted, I don't really think this would ever be done in real life, but still, it's, I guess, theoretically possible. I mean, this is the real driving simulator circa 2004, so it's as realistic as the video game got back then, and, well, this is happening, folks. This is happening. It's going all of 6. At this point, the motor wagon was already to its top speed of 10 or so, 10, barely 11. Once I got to 11, I woed it down, just to be sure. This is going 7. 3 mile an hour difference ain't much, but when you're only working with 11, it's a whole heck of a heap. But anyway, I'm on to the first turn. And also, it's about the ugliest color possible. I don't like red on any car, really. Especially a car that's already not all that good looking to begin with. But I didn't have all that much money in GT4. I had like about 50,000 credits. So I wanted to spend the least possible on this anyway, just because this is working, I think, folks. I sort of kind of gave it away anyway at the beginning that this is actually slower. But I'll keep it a relative, like, secret to the end of how slow it really is, or if it's just slower in terms of acceleration, well, I'll just let y'all see. As of now, it's going 10. The Mercedes, or one of the Mercedes back then, the Benz motor wagon thingy jig, it went 10. So it's got up to the Mercedes, or I'm gonna keep saying that. I'll just say Ye Olde. As fast as Ye Olde went, but now Jiminy Cricket is actually going faster. So it started off slower than anything ever, but now it's actually picking up a little bit of speed. Emphasis on a little bit. It's going 11. Just for reference, this has more in the tank. The Ye Olde was limited, but this has gone 0 to 12 in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. 0 to 1 in 10 seconds. Yeah, I think this one is slower. And remember, the Ye Olde did a lap in 2:51 because it started at the 1 minute mark, and this is already way over that, and it's just now getting off the turn. So, well, there's your verdict, folks. With everything in the Ye Olde's favor and nothing in the other terrible car's favor, the Ye Olde Mercedes Benz motor wagon is actually not the slowest car ever. That's something and a half, folks. That's something and a half. And again, like I said, everything was against the Fiat because in the moving lap, if it already has as fast as it's gonna go, it absolutely blows the doors off the bends because it's going 14, 15, and it doesn't have to slow down any for these turns. So, I mean, it's very relative, and it's kind of one of those things that you can't really ever use, but it's still truism right yonder. 1886, or actually 85 for that one, a car was actually created that's slightly faster than as dumbed down of a 1960s car can be. And also, this probably ain't the downright slowest car in the game, I would assume. The 1972 Fiat and GT6 got the lowest performance points possible, but I think really in lap times tuned to the absolute best they could be with how low of performance points they had. I think the slowest might have actually been the VW Bus, but that ain't in this game, so maybe a Beetle would still be as slow. A Beetle has a lot more power, but it can be given a lot more power, which means that you can do the flip thing where you like make it look like it has more power than it has, so that way you can lower the engine to 50% and then take all that stuff off, and then it's still at 50%, so it kind of tricks it. But I don't know if you can do that in 4, and I mean, this proves it anyway, so there's really no point in proving something that's already been proven. So, well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. As y'all could see from that lap, it was obvious that standing, run, and flying lap is completely different. But, nonetheless, well, there you have it, folks. The motor wagon is faster than a Fiat 500. Kinda. Yeehaw!